Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Key Kids podcast. We're so happy you guys decided to hang out with us today.
This is a podcast about young 20-somethings navigating life one inconvenience at a time.
I think you mean one life lesson at a time?
No.
This week, we're talking about COVID-19 and some of the hobbies our friends have discovered during this time.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kaitlin. This has been quite the struggle. So I've been trying to kind of come up with new hobbies and really just keep busy around the house. So one of the main things that I've been doing is trying to learn new recipes and cooking different things every day.
I'm an R&B pop producer, songwriter. One of the things I've been consistent with over the past 2.5, 3 weeks is that I finally picked up the guitar.
Well, hi, I'm Courtney. During this quarantine time and self-isolation, I've been spending most of my free time designing homemade postcards for friends.
I'm Jessica. I'm doing good. I have my days like everyone, my good and my bad. So I've just kind of been trying to find hobbies and things. So lately I've been studying wine. Even looked into becoming maybe a sommelier, but we'll see how that goes.
Originally, just doing a whole bunch of projects around the house. I was like, yeah, I've been putting these projects off, so I'm gonna just, this is the time to do it. Everybody started selling masks. Everybody wanted masks. I was like, oh, okay, I got a new thing. I'm down.
Yes. Yeah, this has been a super difficult time for me because those who know me know that I love to be on the go. And I don't do very well with sitting at home, sitting on the couch. So yes, this has been quite the struggle. So I've been trying to kind of come up with new hobbies and really just keep busy around the house. So one of the main things that I've been doing is trying to learn new recipes and cooking different things every day. I think my favorite is just learning how many different things there are to make out there and really with what you already have. So I'll go to the grocery store. This isn't necessarily the way a lot of people do it, but I'll go and I'll get the groceries that I usually get, my produce, my bread, my pasta, my things like that. But then it's crazy when you think about everything you have in your house and you go to Google what you can make with the things that you have. For example, the other day, I was craving chicken and a fajita type of taste, but I didn't just want basic chicken fajitas. So I looked up different things that I could do, and it turns out with half of the spices I had, I used chili powder, paprika, cumin. Wait, is it cumin? Shit.
I think it's cumin. I have no idea what it is, but cumin sounds...
So, oh my God, no, I always call it cumin, and Joe was like, it's not cumin, Kate. Scratch that.
That's cute.
For example, the other day, I used chili powder, paprika, cumin, and I realized all these spices I had in my cabinet would give my chicken a good fajita taste. Mm-hmm. And then I was able to use my diced tomatoes and even wine and some chicken broth to make the sauce for my pasta. And I made this really good chicken fajita pasta. So really what I love is just that there's so many easy, convenient ideas out there. But if this had never happened, I probably would have never discovered them because I just didn't have the time to look up different things. So it's been cool.
So after COVID is over and we're back in our normal grind, do you think you will continue to make these meals? Will you continue being a master chef?
I don't know about all that now, but no, yes, I'm definitely going to keep doing it. Because like I said before, it was getting real basic around here. It was spaghetti one day, tacos one day, but no, I'm learning a lot, and it's a nice to have a good variety. So I'll definitely keep it going.
So I'm an R&B pop producer, songwriter. Beesch Productions LLC is the name of my music production company. I started it back in college, and right now it's just really been a solo thing up until about a few months ago, and I started to put my team together. And the idea behind the production company is to help independent artists and artists of any level really curate content and build a brand for themselves. We pride ourselves in being, how you would say, focused on the individual and not the bigger picture. So when I say that, I'm talking about how major labels, they got a lot going on. They have a lot of artists to manage. They've got other agendas. with Beesch Move Productions, we want to make sure that you're putting your best product forward. We want to make sure that we're helping you reach your fullest potential.
So, Brandon, let's talk a little bit about what you have been doing during COVID.
I've been watching a lot of Netflix. I've been creating. I create in spurts. So I get spurts where like it'll be like a week of, man, I'm writing like every day. I'm doing at least 2 tracks a day, and then there's an off week like this week where I'm like, okay, I'm chilling out. Let me listen to some music. Let me actually relax and unplug from that. One of the things that I've been consistent with over the past 2.5-3 weeks is that I finally picked up the guitar and I started taking lessons. So that's been dope. I've definitely had it for like 6 years, and I've just been looking at it. Just looking at it. But I told myself like, man, I've got time. I can't go anywhere. I might as well learn. So that's the biggest thing I've done.
So, Brandon, can you talk about the fact that you built your own studio? Like, can you talk about that process?
Yeah. Let me show the people.
Please.
And this can work. Wait, can I flip it? Okay, yeah, it's like FaceTime. Okay, so let me get up. So
okay.
This was a bedroom in my crib, and we actually stripped the floors of the carpet and we put that down. We had white walls, and I painted them with the help of some people. And we got the acoustic foam in here. Got this from Amazon. Chanel TV. My amps, guitar, keys, some more keys. My computer usually goes right there. And so this is where I work. This is where I'm at most of the day. So when I finally had the opportunity to move off campus, like I wanted to do it, I wanted to have a room, and I wanted to have a place where I could work and not have to worry about any outside factors or influences messing up what I'm trying to do. So, I'm really thankful and blessed that I have the ability to do that now. And it's just a series of trial and error and just going through the process and the phases of life. And here we are trying to make it happen.
For someone that wants to like get into making music, what is some advice you would give them? Like, where should they start?
I'd say you have to know what you want to do first, right? You have to know, like, okay, I want to be an artist, or I want to be a producer, or I want to be a songwriter. From there, it's like, okay, what genre? Who are your inspirations? What are you doing now to get you to that next level? Are you networking? Are you listening to music? Are you learning the game? Are you learning the structure? And it's really all about being a continuous student of the game. Like, I'm never going to get to a point where it's like, I know it all. If you don't, like, you need to come to me to get this information. Like, I'm always learning, whether I'm listening to like some person's music who sends the link in my bio, or like in my DM, or I'm learning from my mentor or whatever. Like, it's always never being too big-headed to learn something, because we don't know everything. Right. Whether you think or you don't, you don't know everything. So it's just being coachable is the best way I can describe it. But yeah, identifying what you really want to do, and then continuing to be a student of the game afterwards.
Today's commercial break is brought to you by Beesch Move Productions, LLC. If you like what you hear, support Beesch Move Productions, LLC on Instagram.
Hi, I'm Courtney. I live in Washington, D.C. and work here as well. And during this quarantine time and self-isolation, I've been spending most of my free time designing homemade postcards for friends. I've always really loved snail mail, and at the beginning of when the city of LA declared their city state of emergency, I was actually there for work. And whenever I travel, I pick up postcards in the different cities that I go to for friends. And so I was already kind of thinking about wanting to send more snail mail anyways. So in tangent with that, coming back, I was like, all right, I've got these letters, like I want to send them to people. And everyone was trying to figure out ways to stay connected. So trying to find something that like takes a lot of time and is creative and is something to work on while still being able to connect with people across the country. I was like, I'll work from home. So for work right now, I am a digital producer for C-SPAN. So I run all of our social channels. So art is pretty integral to just how I operate and see the world. And I think I've always loved art ever since I was a really little kid. And in high school, I think I can really trace this back to, my days on yearbook and doing layout design for our high school yearbook, as that was really my, like, this is what I want to do with my life, is just something always kind of around creativity and expression. And I think especially now when everybody's stuck inside and feeling a lot of feelings all the time.
So aside from art, you run marathon. Can you talk about training for a marathon and what that's been like during COVID-19?
Yeah, so I was supposed to run the DC Rock and Roll Marathon on March 28th, and obviously that was canceled. I have a running buddy who, before this, our training practice was every Sunday or Saturday we would do a long run at the same time and training plans. And her and I decided that even though we weren't going to be able to race the race, we were still going to run the 28 mile or the 26 miles on the 28th. So we both ran separately of each other, and we finished at the Georgetown waterfront, and we just kind of waved and like stood away and high-fived and took some fun pictures from afar. We're just still doing long runs, trying to do it at times when there aren't people outside, so either early in the morning or later at night. It is good to be outside, and that's my like one only time to leave the house is running straight from the door, straight back to the door, no dilly-dallying around. Just trying to soak up a little bit of the fresh air. I think I definitely recognize now how much we fill into our days just to fill into the days. And there's hasn't always been like a deep analysis of why we're pursuing different goals and objectives. Specifically to the point of marathon training, is it just something to do because it kills time? Are we hosting these events and going to all this stuff? And DC is a very like socially active place most of the time. Mm-hmm. And I think that I've learned more about wanting to just be super intentional with the things that I do and making sure that the energy that I do have and the time that I do have is spent to things that fulfill that in a positive way.
Very cool, Courtney. Well, thank you so much for taking the time dealing with the technology issues, but I really do appreciate you taking the time to do this. It was so much fun.
Yeah, no problem. This was fun having me, Kayla.
Yeah, so I'm Jessica, and I know Amber because we work together.
We work together, and she keeps me sane. And oh my God, you're going to laugh at this. So I actually brought wine for our Zoom call and look at like the title of this wine. It's called Thrive.
I love that.
Because we are thriving and surviving in this office place. In this workplace, Jessica keeps me sane when I'm about to lose my sheet, which is almost every day. Jessica, thank you for joining. So first of all, how are you doing during this time? Tell me like what you've been up to lately.
So I'm doing good. I have my days like everyone, my good and my bad. So I've just kind of been trying to find hobbies and things. So lately I've been studying wine, even looked into becoming maybe a sommelier, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay, pause. You said sommelier. For our viewers that don't know what that is, what is a sommelier?
So sommeliers study wine, and so they're just like wine experts.
Okay.
So a lot of their jobs are mainly like, in restaurants, they'd be the ones who would tell you where the wine came from. So funny story. I was in the kitchen, and in my kitchen, there's like a dry bar on the side, and it has all these bottles of wine. And so, we don't really have much to do. So I've been drinking a lot of wine. And so my uncle actually was like, hey, since you love wine so much, why don't you look into becoming a sommelier? And I was like, he's always thinking about that capital, but
always thinking about that side hustle.
I was like, what? That actually sounds very interesting. So then I started looking into it, and it actually is very interesting.
That is so cool. So wait, have you seen, there's a movie on Netflix that's called Uncorked, and it's about a guy that's studying to become a sommelier. Have you watched it?
Yes, I have.
Do you recommend?
I do. It's very good. Not only is it interesting to learn about his story of the wine industry, but it has a very good soundtrack also. So
Yeah, that soundtrack is lit.
Like, there's just so much that goes into it. Like, you have to take the test. And I think in one test, they actually bring you in and you have to, like, differentiate the wines.
So are you going to take the test, or is this just like, you're nodding your head like yes?
I actually think that I will. Maybe, we'll see how level 1 goes, because there's like so much or whatever. So, yeah, hopefully it works out well.
Oh, you're going to grad school in the fall for journalism. You're an aspiring journalist, and part of the program, like, there's a capstone. So I think that would be a really cool story to like kind of like dive into like things that we don't know about wine.
I've been writing for actually a couple of months, like 5 months. I've been writing for a blog that I'm going to create. And so I've actually recently decided to have one of the things on my blog is the different wines and things. Not only will, hopefully people will be interested in reading it, but it'll actually help me, learn more and stick to it. So definitely.
This is so cool. Thanks so much for being on our call today.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
You've been busy. Tell us about, like, first of all, you're an artist anyway, so you work on like all these different projects, but you've been staying active and busy during this pandemic. Tell us what project you're working on right now.
So I just started selling masks. So I've been doing that to keep me busy all day. I've been making masks and sending out orders. So that's pretty much keeping me busy right now.
You're working on masks. I saw on your Instagram you posted today, you've made over 100 masks. Is this since the whole thing when did you start making the masks?
So I started about a week and a half ago, I believe. It's almost
and you've made 100?
100 masks.
Girl,
yeah.
You better go. Wait, so where'd this concept come from? I mean, obviously we need masks, but go ahead.
First, my mom gave me the idea, and I was like, I'm not making masks. We don't even need masks. This was like 3 weeks ago, maybe more than that. And I was like, we're not going to be wearing masks. I do not need to make any masks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I seen more and more people wearing them. I was like, oh, man, dang, we really need to start wearing masks.
Yeah.
So I started watching YouTube videos, trying to figure out how to make it and kind of go from there. So, yeah.
So there's definitely a need. What's been like your favorite part so far in the process of making these masks?
All right. So I think my favorite part is just getting picture mail from happy customers. So it kind of like makes the late nights and early mornings worth it. So just seeing their happy faces in the picture, it's kind of cute.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I was reading this like Time, I think it was like New York Times was posting it. It was showing like all of these masks that people are making, and you're not making these types of masks. Like you have like actual patterns and things that you're using, and I think masks are becoming like a sort of a fashion statement. And now that, and especially like right now, there's so much of an unknown world of like when we're going to be out of this. Like, do you think you'll continue making masks like after coronavirus? Do you think there'll be a need?
I hope there's not going to be a need for it, but if the demand is there, I guess I will be making them if I have the time to make them. We'll see. Everything's up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Stay tuned. How are your masks different from, like you said, there's like thousands of people making masks right now. What do you think makes yours stand out?
So I think mine are a little bit longer from the ones I've seen online. At first, I was like running out of elastic way too fast, and it's so hard to get elastic right now. So I made the fabric part a little bit longer to cover more of your face. So you're using less elastic. Yep.
Are you accepting custom orders?
So I'm not necessarily getting custom orders, but if you do want a certain print, if you just message me, I can always do those.
It's awesome. And so where can people purchase one of your masks?
So I am on Instagram at KC_creations, and then on Facebook at KC Creations Pittsburgh. If you just go there and message me, let me know how many you want, and then I can just let you know how much it will be, and then how long it will take me to get your order.
Are you making these all by yourself, or do you have like a team behind you?
So it was all me, but now that I'm getting more orders, I'm trying to like convince my family members to make stuff and cut out fabric for me. So we'll see. I'm trying to get a whole team.
Yeah, you're recruiting. You need to recruit a team. How much do your masks go for?
So my masks are $10 each, and then $4 for shipping.
Nice. Perfect. Aside from your new hobby, making masks, what has been like your biggest takeaway from like what we're all going through right now?
That everything is changing. Nothing is consistent. Everything is changing. So you do have to adapt to your situation. It's just like all the businesses, how they've adapted and doing curbside pickups and delivery only. So you kind of just have to be aware of your environment and adapt to make those changes.
Thanks for tuning into this week's episode and stay tuned for next week's. But until then, pick up a hobby that makes you feel positive during this time. We're all in this together. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the Key Kids podcast. See you guys next time.